Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for June 17th through 24th, 2024. Well, wow, we have had one of the most intense weeks with our personal planets squaring up with Saturn in Pisces. Our personal planets lining up in Gemini, one by one, making this tense square with Saturn in Pisces, a challenge to our reality. This energy coming forward around the Saturn squares was this wrestling back our timeline, the mother's timeline, the original timeline, the Christ consciousness timeline. Each of us individually, as our personal planets transit over Saturn, making that stand in our life that now the forces work for us again, the way it should be, all in alignment with her, the mother. It's her world. And this is what we're finding. Again and again, the astrology is telling us this. We have had right now over the last couple of days this amazing, powerful, especially coming on at the heels of those squares, where Mercury then caught up to the sun on the 15th, and then today Mercury caught up with Venus. Now, Mercury and Venus are sitting together at 29 degrees of Pisces. 29 degrees of Gemini, which is in square to Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. So it's right on the heels of the Saturn square, but a very different energy. So the Saturn squares were really interesting because we also had Mars square Pluto. And Mars square Pluto just came off a couple of days ago on the 14th. So that was about breaking the ties, breaking the structures, breaking the identities, the ego death that's required for us to receive our wealth and move into the Aquarian age. To fully stand up and take back our wealth, we've got to break down those structures that have been interfering with our ability to know and own the power within us. Pluto represents this power. It also represents our fear of our own power. Standing at 1 degree Aquarius, Pluto is saying, are you really ready to move into the Aquarian age? It requires a complete revolution in the energy of power. Because we have gotten indications that Atlantean time, where the whole story played out, that a small amount of infiltrated souls misused the technology, higher technology, to create mass destruction weapons, right? Same story playing out again and again. But the deal is the issue of that is the misuse of power. And so if we're going to move into the Aquarian age, we know we have to take the higher octave this time, where the power is we the people, our own free energy, we're taking it back. The misuse of technology is impossible when we are connected in the oneness of the Aquarian age. And so there's a lot that needs to be adjusted, and especially talking to our sovereignty and authority and autonomy. And this is really on the table because Pluto going back into Capricorn, Pluto is right now at 1 degree Aquarius, but what we know is going back into Capricorn in September, October, and into November. And so that going back to 29 degrees Capricorn, Pluto, our power, is saying that we must release ourselves finally and completely from all external power structures, taking our sovereignty, claiming. We cannot move into the Aquarian age in this higher octave while we're loyal to the lower forces, because they will just continue to misuse our power, right? This is so intense because Mercury coming together with the sun and then today Venus, the message around this is messages, like clarity. Like this is what the Mercury retrograde, the whole 2024 astrology has been about so far. Now we start to see the revelation. And it's really powerful because it's so much about this moving forward in a completely new way and freeing ourselves from the false authority structures which have allowed our precious creation, energy, power that they didn't want us to know we had, but allows it to be misused. And every day, moment to moment, we're taking it back. And that's the interesting thing about these personal planets, that these squares are all our personal planets, because it's our personal journey back to sovereignty. So Saturn wrestling back. Now, it's interesting because this is really powerful. In the past, I feel like with the way that astrology was used as a dark tool, when if we had all these Saturn squares and Mars square Pluto at the same time, that would be an intense energy, that the dark side would say, oh, this is going to bring negative astrology. And I have to say that this was so different, such a dynamic energy, and it tells us clues. Yes, Saturn is beginning to work for us and the mother again. Can we step up and claim it? This world is now working for her. And then the whole Taurus thing that we've going through around our self-worth and our true wealth, it's like, okay, the forces, the wheels are turning in a different direction now, and so the Saturn squares were not so much about blocking and obstacles and pain and struggle, and it's about, let's push you in the right direction that you really want to go, your path, your dharma path. That is what Saturn is really about. And then that energy was corrupted and used to control humanity through physical 3D reality, right? Just keep us as slaves in the lower dimension. So wrestling back our timeline it means so much. And then we have these transits today: Mercury, Venus, Mercury, Sun a couple of days ago, or on the 15th. Today, Mercury, Venus. And it's that, again, maybe not so much the silver bells, but now the gong is going off. And the gong is going off saying, hey, because in Gemini, and now Jupiter in Gemini, we're having an era, a year of this Gemini expansion and expression. And so that energy is bringing forward what really wants to be expressed, and what the song that we want to sing in the world that's been suppressed. And that is the divine feminine. So Mercury, Venus today, massive realizations about the role of the divine feminine in the world, in our life. Coming back to that mother energy, healing our mother wound, healing our wound of separation. And the messages coming through, the clarity, because we just had this wrestling back our timeline, but what it really was about with the new paradigm, falling into the role, our true dharma. So it's really powerful that we have these conjunctions and this light of, like, because the sun and Venus have been together for a whole month. But it's not until Mercury parades his little butt into this that we really get the energy, And it's like, oh, this is what this is about. This is what this means, So be open to the messages. Now, how powerful is it that the placements of these conjunctions also put them into, at the end degrees of Pisces in square to, at the end degrees of Gemini in square to Neptune in Pisces. Now, Neptune in Pisces, we've been told, or the message has come through, that we're rehashing the Piscean age, we're cleaning it up, we're coming out of the delusions, coming back into the dream. We are facing where we played along with the game and coming out of that mind control program and cleaning up the delusions and the programming of control, or that use the Piscean energies to control us, claiming back the mysteries, miracles, and magic of the Piscean age. So, squares with Neptune of our personal planets, really intense, facing deep, dark delusions and overcoming deep, dark delusions. But guess what? All this other stuff is going on that's telling us what it's really about. If we just wrestled back our timeline, Saturn's working for us now. What's going on with Neptune? That means miracles and magic and blessings. And guess what? We've been looking for these, asking for these, wishing that the structures of this world could bring us back the blessings that are ours, all that's been stolen. And you know what? You got to have a channel for the blessings. And it turns out, guess what? SuperNova, you are a channel for the blessings. And yet, how can you be a channel for the blessings if you can't receive for yourself? And so this is so much of what we're going through. Really ties all together. The false authority, where we've given our power away, is all about where we didn't feel worthy and powerful enough to handle our own power. So we just stand at the edge here of the precipice of the old and the new. And that is the message, or that's the placement of Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. It's the very last degree of the zodiac, of the whole astrological year, the whole story, the last note. I mean, we know that Neptune has still more time, will not move completely out of Pisces until 2025 or 2026, I believe. And so, but Neptune sits there now at the very end degree in this dynamic astrology. So if we had our personal planets like today, Mercury and Venus, as they come together, exact square with Neptune at 29 degrees. And so Venus and Mercury are saying, what's the song? And the sun close by, what's the song? What do we want to shine? What do we want to express? Who are we? We are missing our mother and our divine feminine and our love and our nurturing world the way it's supposed to be. And so then, if we're going to move into these squares with Neptune and claiming back the miracles, it's claiming back the divine feminine timeline. It's coming out from the delusions. Like, so the Piscean age was all about persecution of the divine feminine, the healing, the creation energy, the sexual energy, the Kundalini empowerment, the ancient mysteries, but also just the healing and the love and the nurturing, the midwives, and the herbalists, and just eradicate all that so that we can control humanity. So how do we get out from under the control? We bring that back. And that's us. And we stand at the bow of this ship with that goddess pointing the way. And we know where we're going. So we got this message that if there was one healer, one hospital, one Casey hospital, doing the therapies, showing the alternative way, doing the psychic work, doing the intuitive work, and the natural healing methods, and having success, if one Casey hospital existed, they couldn't have done the AMA. They couldn't have gotten us here. They couldn't have gotten to the mass genocide that we're experiencing, of the brainwashing of the populace through Western medicine, so-called healthcare, which is really genocide. We could never have gotten here. Okay? But what that means is one Casey hospital, one healer, one shaman, one supernova soul coming into their full and true expression, being the blessings of the world. Game over for that paradigm. And we've gotten this message. If one supernova soul came into their full expression, game over. This is where we are. We're lighting up, we're turning on, we're remembering who we are. Nothing can stop it. We're coming together in a massive vortexes of energy as we take our wealth back, our energetic wealth, and we turn on our vortex. We call in the other souls that are working on this level, calling home to each other, the parts of ourselves, really. We are an organism coming to be the Holy Grail here, the vessel of blessings. So we got to empty out if we're going to let it all flow through, right? And so that's been the process we're in. Super intense astrology, but also an alchemy happening. And so we really want to pay attention through these Neptune squares, because it's like, are you going to let the programming, delusions, and everyone around you making this your reality? Or are you going to claim your own reality from inside? Your dream right here, right now. What's true for you? Come back to the mother. We don't have to try to figure it out anymore. We just have to be with her and breathe with her, and all is unfolding perfectly in the dream. And so it's just so intense and yet so beautiful, because if those Saturn transits weren't about messing us up and tumbling us down like every other time, they're now about working with us. Then these Neptune squares are about a release, an ignition of the magic and miracles back in the world, the healing power coming back to us. And so these squares, the energy of the Neptune squares, they're all pretty close together. So it happens, and they're moving, our personal planets move pretty quick. So starting on the 15th is when we started feeling Venus in square to Neptune, and that will go through the 18th. So these 3 days, these next couple of days, this last couple of days, the next couple of days, we're just kind of in this Like every moment, now we were wrestling back our timeline. Now we're wrestling back the dream from out from under the nightmare. And it's a delicate process because you're going to find your old traumas, right? So that's the thing we have to look at. These squares with Neptune are not just squares with Neptune. They're triggering the Pluto sextile with Neptune that goes through the end of the year, that beautiful backdrop of possibilities. And also the kite that just happened. See? If it was just these squares with Neptune and not Black Moon Lilith opposition that's also happening, it would be one thing. But we just had this magical kite saying, we're lifting up out of the old stories. We're cleaning and clearing the healer that got disgraced and bringing them back into the fold as this incredibly powerful worth in our world, you know? And the kite is about, with that trine that just came off, the Jupiter trine Pluto, and Jupiter in Taurus, Jupiter in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. And this energy of like, that was the body of the kite, this trine with Black Moon Lilith, taking us up out of the darkness of the Piscean age, up out of the persecuted healer paradigm, and into the mother's love, where we are creating new structures, co-creating, you know, that bring the healing back to the people. And so you must receive your healing, and is that what this has been all about? Your whole life going to these deep, dark places, going to hell and back so you can be like, I've been there. You got this. You can bring that love into the world in the strength of your soul. There's no more denying. They have been ripping apart our dream, shredding it into pieces, and now it's magically coming back together like that kite. So the energy of Jupiter at the very beginning of Gemini and Pluto at the very beginning of Aquarius going retrograde, but still dipping our toes into this new reality, the new renaissance, the vibrational waves of healing, love, and creation, that we do it from here. You know, and all the false narratives out there and all the structures, all the organizations, all the governments, all the banks, all the all the structures of this world, must come back to the mother energy. And so why don't we just be here and hold that space and hold that love for all of these structures to magically fall completely apart and knit back together in a beautiful new way, the fabric of her dream. And we are the sacred threads. We know this now. So that makes these next couple of days really, really powerful. Now, then that's Venus, Mercury, square Neptune comes off on the 18th. They move right into Gemini. To Cancer. That's the other thing that's so powerful about this astrology. It's like, yeah, there's this tension square and we're coming up against the delusions, but then right into Cancer. Mercury and Venus transiting into Cancer together. 0 degrees Cancer. Yeah, they're together at 29, Gemini, but they're also together at 0. And it's a new start for the feminine and the nurturing and her timeline and the love. And that's what Mercury's telling us, that this has all been about the whole 2024 journey and really the whole evolution. Now we get to come back home to her. And it's so glorious and beautiful. And we can do it every moment. We don't have to wait for them to get on board. We can be there. We don't have to wait for the world. We don't have to wait for the structures. Let the glorious demolition happen. Because this is the power of this time, coming to the other part of the kite that happened. And we haven't even gotten to the exact of this. This is Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, opposite of Neptune in Pisces, the opposition that made the axis of the kite. These are exact from this opposition between Black Moon Lilith and Neptune is exact from the 21st to the 29th of June. We'll feel it all the way through the first 3 weeks of July. And we've been feeling it since the end of May. So it's a powerful, powerful energy, and it's redefining these Neptune squares, saying that it's healing that wounded healer, or releasing that persecution of the healer energy. Now, Black Moon Lilith is the deepest, darkest secrets, often associated with our 12th house astrology. So it's like Black Moon Lilith placement says, okay, here's what these deep, dark secrets that we haven't been able to face about yourself, your power, your history, your truth. There's the placement. Then, when you look at your 12th house energies, it helps understand more about those deep, dark secrets. But the message we've been getting through, and I think that's what this transit is about. Because remember that this is not just Pluto opposite Neptune. I mean, this is not just Neptune opposite Black Moon Lilith. It's also Black Moon Lilith, or Neptune in sextile to Pluto, Neptune in square to our personal planets. Massive, dynamic, just jimming the lock on this reality. So this opposition is really, really important. And what we were getting around this is that when you shine the light is shown, exposure happens, immediately healing and cleaning up begins. We don't have to do it. The mother does it. The energy does it. The vital force does it. And that's the cool thing about homeopathy. As we look at a metaphor, a homeopathic remedy is like a message to the body. And it's kind of like a revving up of the vital force, like pulling the strip of the pull strip of the motor. And it says, go, do it, like the direction, the way, the force goes. The self-correcting force, what was found in the physical laws of the universe expressed in classical homeopathy, is the self-correcting force is the most harmonized way to cure. So you're just going straight to cure in the most harmonized way. That is what the vital force does. And now we're saying, now we got the message. As soon as the exposure comes, healing happens immediately. And we can just get out of the way and let it happen. That's what's going on in our world right now, because the forces that are wanting to help us with this evolution are non-interference. They're going with the prime directive that we are a free will universe and we all must decide, especially at this crucial time, if we're on the train to ascension. The train to ascension is also her dream, the mother's dream. It's her ascension. And we have front row seats and we hold a special, special part of the puzzle. That we're being called to come forward and our offering to her, the gift she gave us long ago. And now we get to offer it back as we paint this tapestry together with all of our unique offerings. And yet it's all for her, to bring it all back together to oneness. And so it's so intense and powerful because we're being ripped apart and sewn back together. But know that this is what I think is happening in the world. It's like um, there was the forces that are at all the way in alignment with the mother's dream and this ascension, spiritual ascension, evolution of humanity, can only hold space and offer remedies through us and our in consciousness. They can't interfere. So it's like all they can do is really help expose, and then the forces come in to clean and heal and clear it up, and that's where we're at. So it's like disclosure, clean up, disclosure, clean up. The light's on it, and then the healing happens. And so if it's almost like that art of war concept that you want to just kind of get out of the way and let your enemies destroy each other. And that's kind of what is happening in the world right now. That might make it more sense. It's a movie. Don't get too attached with what's playing out in the world, because it's all designed to keep you in a narrative outside of your own narrative, to keep you from the power you have to create your own reality through pictures, telepathy, higher technologies, love. This is where we need to be. And if you're finding emptiness out there, it's because it's true. There's no substance. It's all play. It's all Facebook, fake book play. Where's the substance? Where's the true essence, meaning, purpose, wealth? This is a big thing with this time that we're in, coming forward with our Dharma path coming, like tumbling onto our Dharma path. So that's also the substance, right? So that is, if we can take our love, our holy grail cup of love of all we've acquired and worked on all these lifetimes, and we can put it together with our purpose, that's kind of where we're at right now. The Dharma path needs to land home. What Rudolf Steiner talked about is the path of action, of will force, the path of initiation. And so we're moving into this, coming back together, really getting to work on what we came here to do. So all of this astrology is about that, your preparation, your download, your healing, because you cannot heal all the lack and the loss and the pain and the abuse until it looks like it might be getting better. And that's where we're at. And this is the message that seems to like, okay, it's shifting, but can you claim it? Can you own it? Can you step up and say yes? You know? And it's just so much overhaul on all levels of our being. And it's completely disconcerting. And it feels like that fool at 0 point just leaping off of the cliff. And yet that's when the only time you can really know that she's here to catch you. So here we are. Now, it's really powerful that we've got, so let's go back to this because the sun, we talked about the Venus, Mercury, Neptune is over these few days right now. Then the sun catches up to the square with Neptune on the 20th. That is also the day of the solstice where the sun moves into Cancer. And it's such a powerful marker because Venus and Mercury, oh, we're figuring it out. We're getting it together. We're on the dream. We're on the dream. Let's go. Boom, 0 degrees Cancer. New start for the new dream of the mother's dream. And then the sun comes along for solstice and has that square with Neptune exactly for solstice. And then we also have the Capricorn new moon like within, 24 hours of the solstice. The Capricorn new moon happens on June 21st, Friday, June 21st at 7 p.m. And look for the activation, the new moon activation that day on the 21st. In the morning in mountain time, but the actual new moon is at 7 p.m. Uh, mountain time, but that is 9 p.m. EST, which is so much of Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast of the US. So much of what's playing out in the world has to do with that area of the world. And so it's really powerful that it happens at 9:08 Eastern Time, which if you add 9 and 8, you get 17. And the new moon is at 1 degree Capricorn, 7 minutes. So 2 17s. And we also had today, this is the 17th, and Mercury Venus conjunction square Neptune on the 17th. So everything comes back to this Neptune at 29 degrees. Like, are you ready to end it? Who are you without the old stories? Can you replace it with love? You know? Oh, it's so intense. So look out for on Thursday, this Thursday, June 20th, we'll have a Solstice Soul Group session, really exciting group intuitive session. The energies could not be more powerful for us to really get a sense of who we are and what we're doing here. So look for that Solstice Soul Group session on Thursday, June 20th, and happy solstice. It's a very exciting one. Brand new start to the Mother's Dream. And then on the 21st, we'll be doing that Capricorn new moon activation. So look out for those events. Hold tight for this powerful, powerful astrology. The sun square Neptune happens on the 20th, right there for that solstice. And then we'll feel it through the 23rd. And so through the weekend, it's just this kind of, you know, are you going to live their nightmare or are you going to live your dream? Who are you? Are you a player in their nightmare or are you a star in your own dream? That's her dream. We don't have to work at it. We don't have to create it. We don't have to build it. We've already planted these seeds. Can we, start the motor, step back and let it grow? See what happens? Tread carefully because there's still a few traps, but those traps are showing you exactly where you're still entangled and really very, very important. So just know that it's like the gloom and doom that normally would be prophesied around this astrology. That's not what it is. Choose your dream, choose the dream. We don't have to work at it. We don't have to figure out what it is. It's the mother's love coming back home, and we've always stood with her. We represent that. Everything you've been doing through all of your lifetimes is the mother's work. The Virgo Black Moon Lilith is the persecution of the mother's work, and that ends now. And the garden grows back up around us. powerful, powerful energy. The vortexes, getting so many messages about vortexes, that through our consciousness and our love, these vortexes awakening back up into the mother's dream as well, clearing the overlays of control and protection over the mother's sacred body. And we take back our sacred body, our acupuncture points, our chakras. We light her chakras with our chakras, you know, and connect these sacred places. We saw this beautiful picture of like a cathedral on the astral plane where we're all connected and we can meet up, and then these beautiful little filament connections to these sacred vortexes that we're called to work at. So when we work in our vortexes, we're connecting back to our higher dimensional family and the support that's available to us, but non-interfering. We have to do it, and that's why it's such a powerful time we're living in this time where we wrestle back the timeline, go from the delusions to the dream, and co-create our new reality, you know? So welcome home. Thanks for being here. We're all here. Just calm down. Everybody's here. We're finding each other. We're coming back together. We come back together first in consciousness, you know, and then in physical connection. It's a really big deal. They've blocked us from coming together in our soul supernova soulmate power, super twins activate for a long time. And now, do we have permission? Do we have full permission? We got to like step gingerly around the barbed wire gate, but we're escaping to come back together in the fairy tale of the love that we are. The Holy Grail is the Supernova tribe. Thank you so much for going through all you've gone through, being here. Thank you so much for your support. For $10 a month, that gets you into the Supernova Soul Tribe chats on the Telegram channel, weekly updates, and resources for Supernova Souls. $20 a month includes the activations. And now the sharing circles will be on Telegram, available for everyone who participates in the activation and is part of the Supernova Soul Tribe on either the $10 level or the $20 level. But thank you so much for your support of the dream, of me. And I hope that these messages are also a support for you. I love you so much. Thank you for being there and for being here. And I look forward to connecting soon. I hope to see you at the Solstice Soul Group session, Thursday the 20th, Capricorn New Moon activation, Friday, June 21st. Coming up on, it's a big week where we tumble into that Dharma path to sing the song of the Divine Feminine again, the Mother's love in our world. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.